hiding behind the busy button, and book your Brew and Stew Media Spotlight package now, because staying invisible is a choice and you're not going to do it anymore. You're going to be visible. You're going to be influential. Scan the QR code. Make that choice for the Brew and Stew package. Hiding behind the busy button. Busy and book your Brew and Stew Media Spotlight package now, because staying invisible is a choice and you're not going to do it anymore. You're going to be visible. You're going to be influential. Scan the QR code. Turns out, make that choice for the Brew and Stew package. The best kept secret was hiding behind the busy button. Busy and book your Brew and Stew Media Spotlight package now, because staying invisible is a choice and you're not going to do it anymore. You're going to be visible. You're going to be influential. Scan the QR code. Turns out, make that choice for the Brew and Stew package. Hiding behind the busy button. Busy and book your Brew and Stew Media Spotlight package now, because staying invisible is a choice and you're not going to do it anymore. You're going to be visible. You're going to be influential. Scan the QR code. Turns out, make that choice for the Brew and Stew package. Hiding behind the busy button. Busy.
All right, that was fun. How's it going? Good morning. Good morning.
Happy Monday.
You guys, that was funny. I was fixing the volume and fixing the show. Good morning. Welcome to the VoiceLab podcast. That is just the way it goes. It was in hiding and we were coming at you from several different places there, checking that live stream, and it was not turning off. How funny is that? But hey, well, instead of that, let's just get into it. Welcome to the VoiceLab. All right, one too many screens up. Hey, so all right, you know what? We're human, and that's what happens. That's where we're at. We are human people coming at you on a Thursday. Things are happening. And you know what? We're here with the VoiceLab podcast. And what is this for? It is for entrepreneurs. You know what? We're moving the needle and how to stop overcomplicating marketing. We want to flip the script on how to use simplified systems, virtual stages to turn attention into authority and authority into income. And that's what we're here to do, is we're really looking at leveraging how things are done. What's going on in your life? What's going on in your world? What's going on in your business? And always having those great conversations of what to do. And this is all about, we even have VoiceLab on the school platform. I'll share that information in the chat. And I'm Nicole Borgate. I'm the Digital Diva, and I'm here as your event to scale visibility leader. What is that? It's really leveraging stages as a marketing machine. And this is what we're going to get into today. We're going to get into the series that we have up here on the VoiceLab. And you know what? It's all about your CRM today. You know, it's about tagging by lead source, automating follow-up, conversation tracking, and workflow simplification. But before we get into that, let me bring up, Colleen, I wanted to let you drink your thing there. So introduce yourself to the folks, and why do we matter here today?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you know, we're like the silent superhero in your business. That's right. So I'm Colleen Stubbs. I'm the founder of Simplified CEO Systems. And what I do is I simplify, go high level for my clients. And how I do that is, first of all, I take 7 days and I go in and I create their website, their landing pages. I create all of the workflows, automations, email nurture sequences that they need, connect calendars, connect social media, all of the things that need done. Bring in their clients, bring in their CSV or their contact list, right? And once I have that all set up, that is immediate confidence for my clients, because no longer do they need to worry about the back end of their business. It's automatically set up and running. And so they can show up and shine confidently about not only their business, their product, their service, but also knowing that their leads aren't going to drop, that things aren't going to be skipped or missed, that everything is connected correctly, that appointments are getting made, and the email sequences that follow that, the reminders, things like that, are going through. And once the appointments are attended, they're also getting the follow-up on that. So it's a whole process that I do for my clients. And then I have my group, Simplified Go High Level on School, that teaches them how to clone and edit everything I've done so that they don't actually have to hire it done again if they don't want to. So I think today, when we're talking about making your CRM sexy, it's sexy not as in a ooh, look at me. It's a sexy, confident way, right? So you're literally able to show up and shine instead of getting on events like Nicole does, or even getting in networking groups or something like that. You're not going to scramble to get back and do a whole bunch of things in your CRM. You're also not going to wake up on Friday morning and go, did I get everything done I was supposed to do this week? Did I import all these things? Did I tag all these people? That's already going to be done. And so we have a process for this, and it's super important that we learn how to utilize our CRM. You know, people have a CRM because they're like, oh, I have to have it, like turning on the lights. You have to have it, right? But when you take that and you utilize it as a silent partner in your business, let it be the superhero. Let it do the hard work. Let it do all the heavy lifting so that really you can go share your expertise. I don't know anybody that came online and went, I want to be overwhelmed, confused, and burned out by trying to get my tech system stacked right and get everything connected.
Are you sure about that? I think a
No,
lot of people did.
like, hey, it's Worry Wednesday. Let's worry about whether they're going to disconnect from this other tech stack, right? No, we didn't. We came on because we had a solution that we want to share with the world. And so this really just gives you the opportunity to amplify your message and to amplify your branding by getting out there and being the face and voice of your business.
Absolutely. It's really about why it's not converting your leads. What are you doing? And that's a conversation that you're having throughout your journey. It has everything to do with how are you marketing yourself? And anytime you get on the stage, anytime you're talking to someone in a networking group, every time you turn that camera on or every time you go to a live event, and you're speaking to people, you want to still connect with them and curate and nurture that relationship. And if you're not doing that, then why are you getting on the stage? And that's a hard pill to swallow. I'm going to channel my Simon Cowell for a minute, but it is a hard pill to swallow. Why are you on the stage if you're not getting leads? And I just had a conversation yesterday with somebody about that, and I mentioned to them, I said, right now, if you're speaking on the stage, first I ask them, because I interview my speakers, first I ask them, do you have a CRM set up? What's your marketing workflow? If I haven't met them before, and I do ask that, because if you're a newer speaker, I want to make sure that you're going to come in strong and that I'm able to support you and you're able to support the audience that's there. And if you don't have a full setup, then there's a different journey we need to take to get you onto the stage. Because maybe you're not comfortable. Maybe you need to jump on a call, and we need to fill out your speaker profile, and we need to make sure that your CRM is set up and you do have a good worthy lead magnet that people are going to want. And that way, the next time you come in, you're going to know that you can trust me to work with me, and that I'm going to back you up on that, and I'm going to make sure that you shine well. And it helps because you don't want your audience to come in and go, what's going on? This person doesn't have anything together. I keep seeing her go from stage to stage, and I can never connect with her because you're not selling your products or your service. You're not funneling people where to go. And a funnel doesn't mean necessarily a digital journey. Sometimes there's just steps and levels that you're going to go on in a conversation. And I asked them what their lead magnet looked like. And I said, in this last year, I've really realized on my journey that people don't want that paper product. Unless there's a specific giveaway where people are asking for that, an ebook or something, or a list or something like that to build a list, then that's where you go, because the people that show up to get that are looking for those ebooks. That's a different clientele at that moment. But when you're getting on the stage, what is converting right now is getting in a school group, sending somebody to your workshop, sending somebody to your mastermind as your free gift, not through a paywall. Your paywall should be a call to you. Your paywall should be a better product if you're just getting on stage for a couple of minutes and you're not going to do a big sale. And that's where you got to nurture people. And they still gave me their ebook. And I'm just saying, you have that choice, but I want you to stand out and shine. And the audience might not want that. So you might want to make sure that you have something set up. If you have a group, if you have a group conversation weekly, that's where you want to send them. And they want people. They want connection. And that's what we talk about all the time, right? Colleen is really connecting to people. And how are we doing that?
It is, it is. And I think that, you can't proclaim to be professional and then show up messy and expect that even if you have some things in your business, you have a great product, maybe you have a great end product, you can't expect that to convert when you show up messy, right? When you're not responding to messages because you're not realizing they're coming in, or you're not responding to the correct people, or maybe the emails you're sending out after an event aren't correlating with the event. There are different ways that you need to make sure everything is strategically set up so that you not only appear professional, but you're confident in the professionalism that you're presenting. And I think that that's huge. And I think that there are so many little steps. I understand that that can be overwhelming. I understand as the CEO of your business that you want to know what's going on in your business. You should know what's going on in your business, but you don't need to be the one making all the decisions. So when you can really look at your business objectively and just say, where can I simplify? What does it not matter if I do this again? Okay, somebody, I think it was Masango, said this week, you don't have to go in every week and mop the floors. You have other people that can do that. And so, yes, you're responsible for whether the floors get mopped or not, but doesn't mean you have to be the one pushing the mop. And so that's a big deal. So when you can look at your business objectively, learn how to simplify it, learn what and how to automate, learn what should be delegated, and then also at the same time, in tandem with that delegation, learn what you absolutely should not delegate. Learn and really define what needs your personal touch. And so those are huge things. But without your back end running smoothly, you cannot present your business in a professional manner. You cannot scale it the way that you want to. It's got to run correctly, smoothly, and in the background. That's why it's called a back office, because it's in the background, not forefront.
It is. It is the back office, and how people have forgotten that terminology. And I think that is another mistake that we make sometimes as entrepreneurs getting in groups because we are experts. It would be when we have conversations with people, and sometimes I get stuck in terminology because a group of people I network with here use a blank terminology. So let's just say affiliate link. There are, and this gets into your workflow too, is somebody said to me, do you have an affiliate link sign up, or did you create one for this summit project? And there was never an affiliate link, and I asked them to clarify what the affiliate link, what they meant by affiliate link, because we had not assessed for an affiliate link or any affiliation alluding to promotional material that somebody would be getting a percentage of the outcome of promoting the summit. So since that wasn't in an assessment, I asked if that was going to be something that was made. And the reason I share this conversation is we need to have better clarifying conversations that we're all speaking the same language. It is a generic term now. JV partner, joint venture partner, is a generic term now, unfortunately. An affiliate link is not a promotional link. It can be, but it is not necessarily a promotional link. So those things have to be clarified. And in conversations, when we're talking about certain things, what do you mean? And I constantly ask this all the time because I want to make sure that I'm not letting someone talk or be in a conversation and I'm staring at them like a deer in headlights, not understanding what they're talking about, and then we're not clarified. And I think that helps to have those clarifying conversations, because when you're doing that, this gets into tracking people, and you do this well when you tag people in your back office, your contact list. And why this is important is because if you have clarifying referral conversations, you know how well that you can tag people.
Right.
So I started doing a spreadsheet of who goes where and what they are because I don't really tag people. How do you do that to make this as easy as possible without getting overwhelmed and deeply tagging them?
Yeah, I'll just tell you what my I'll share this is a personal glimpse inside Colleen's CRM. So let me tell you how I tag people I network with. Um, and you'll understand why I'm laughing. And so I have a few tags. One is referral partner potential. Okay. And so somebody that I have met with multiple times, and I know that they've got their crap together, for lack of better words. I know that their follow through is good. I know that they are as professional as they proclaim to be, and they have an audience that would be good prospects for me. And so then they get tagged as a referral partner prospect or potential. And then once I solidify that in a conversation with them that yes, they want to be a referral partner, then they get tagged as referral partner. When they're tagged as a referral partner, they come back around every 30 days. They automatically get invited to get on a call with me. And that's automated through my system, right? The next person that comes in would be prospects, right? Of course, you want to tag your prospects, and you may tag them a prospect out as to how they came in. It just depends on how detailed you want to be in your tagging. I tag everybody as how they came in, and then after I have a conversation with them, I decide whether they're a warm prospect or they're just in there floating around, not quite ready yet, right? And so tag them that way. And the reason being, so if you came in through my checklist, which I know Nicole doesn't love these PDFs, but I have a very handy one that I still use. But if you came in through my checklist that tells you what to simplify, how and what to automate, and what you should delegate, what you should not delegate, if you came in through that, then I can carry on more conversations with you based on that, as opposed to you coming in through a networking meeting or something like that, right? Okay, so then you've got your prospects, we've tagged them by how they come in. And then sometimes from networking, we've all had this experience. And so let's just be bold about it. There are people that I tag as run. That is not an acronym. That is run. That means run run as fast as you can the other direction from these people because they are not anything that you want to do with. So that's the run tag. And it's a true tag in my CRM. So if I die and my daughter has to take over my CRM, I want you guys to clue her in as to what run means because and everybody has different words for it, but you have to have one way of going, no, just no, and it can be whatever, but it needs to make sense to you. So that is my tagging system. And I know it's a little bit odd, but immediately when I see that, if they reach out for anything, it's just run. And I mean, even if they reach out for an appointment, I'm like, are you sure that this is something you want to do to meet with me? Because the last 3 times you didn't make it.
Right. Right. And that's true. And no, I didn't say I don't like a PDF. What I'm saying is use them smart.
Yes,
Use
I
them
agree.
when they're necessary.
And I
Like a
think
giveaway. If we do a list building giveaway, and I do those normally every 6 months, that's a good time for the PDF.
right.
If you, Colleen, you have a journey of where that PDF is going and you have an intention for it, you understand how to leverage that. If you're throwing out a PDF because that's something you were told to do 20 years ago, and you're not getting any sign-ups in going into year 21, stop using it.
Absolutely.
Trying to make things, for me, it's keep it simple. If you can keep it as simple as possible, here's a pro tip I'm trying to share with you that I'm giving you because I think that it would convert better if you did maybe a group call. It would convert better, where those calls now where people get in 2 or 3 people in a room on a call now. Why? Because it helps evolve the conversation and you don't want to just sit there. Hi, how's it going? How's your day? How's your cat? What's your favorite color? And the conversation's boring. People aren't talking. People aren't moving. There are those conversations, or you're busy, and it's better for you to have three people in the room instead of one, because you haven't met these people yet. You haven't really experienced them. There's reasons to do that. And if you're leveraging, and this is what I'm learning, is if you start to leverage those moments better, uh, then your audience will have a better experience. And if you're doing something creatively, if you're a huge creative, and maybe you're you create graphics, you create AI graphics, maybe you create vision boards. So those type of get a glue gun and some scissors and a little sparkle and some glitter out kind of creative journey, then it's better for people to experience that portion of what you do so you can do a show and tell moment. You will have a much more better connection, a more solid connection, and they can see what you do. They can experience what you do for 15 minutes. And you can say, hey, this is what I do. This is what I share with my clients. This is the journey I can take. So trying to share with people, hey, I think you would be better served and you would serve your clients better if you do this from the stage, because I'm starting to see that if you're coming to this stage, I don't want you to just show up robotically. I don't think that serves anybody well. And then you're talking about, then you be creative personally, be creative on the stage, share a great story, be dynamic, and let your CRM do its kind of boring thing ultimately, because it just is automated. It's a system, it's a software, it's automated. It's not necessarily meant to be fun or interesting. I love back office stuff. I'm just one of those nuts like you are where I like the tech, but let that tech be put aside, and it's time to level up and stop fighting. If you've been in business for 5 years plus, stop fighting that the system's there. Stop fighting that this is where we're going and we do have to accept that. So, and then, what is the way really to turn that in? And I think that's the gift of the CRM. So when people put stuff in there, you talked about a PDF and a workflow, where your nurture sequence, where people go. Do you change that for every product you have, or is it kind of the same?
Nicole, let's just get back to it. I want to talk about the back office a little bit, and then let's talk about keeping it super simple, okay? So let's look at the back office. I just don't want this to have gone over anybody's head. I want to make sure that everybody is clear on what your back office is. So let's say that you go to dinner. We all have gone to a restaurant. You go to a restaurant, there are maybe 5 or 6 of you. The waitress comes out, takes everybody's order, goes back. The food comes out. There are 4 meals that come out, and there are 5 or 6 people. Well, clearly the ball has dropped. Does she panic? What do the clients see right then? No, she goes back behind the wall and says to the cook, here's the order ASAP, because I delivered everybody else's and I screwed up and dropped the ball. And this is done behind the back office. This is in the back, right? Or you're working at a florist shop, right? And Johnny stops by to pick up his flowers for his wife who's dying. And you're like, oh, and then ding, ding, Johnny, you're like, I do remember talking to you. I do. Let me go get your flowers. And you run around the corner, you're like, oh crap, Johnny needs his flowers. His wife's dying in 10 minutes. Can we get those done? That's behind the wall. You always on the front office, you always look professional and confident in your delivering. But that back office has to run smoothly. We can't have drop tickets. We can't have memos. We can't have post-its that got lost. It has to run smoothly. Now, I like to have 3 lead magnets. Don't worry, I'm not going to tell you to throw away those booklets, the pamphlets, the all the things, right? Because I remember writing a 21-page booklet, and then I wrote one that's 76 pages, and it's actually amazing, and I love it. I didn't throw it away when I went to the keeping it super simple. What I did is I have my checklist that is very valuable, and along with the checklist, you go through the checklist on your own, and then we get on a call together and go through the checklist, and I offer any pointers, right? And then when we get on a VIP call, not only do we do the same thing, but then you get a discount on my services through the VIP call. And all of these lead into the opportunity to participate in my school group, which is Simplified Go High Level. And this gives you a glimpse. It gives you looms. It gives you SOPs, how to do all of the things and go high level in a super simple way. And so from there, you can decide if you want to work with me or not. So basically, that's 3 things that I'm working with. Now, my healthy routine planner that I have it's a big, thick book. It tells you how to simplify your entire life, right? and I love it, and I utilize all the things in it, and I keep it. Because when my client gets to a point where they're like, it's just too much. I'm running crazy. I'm not able to get all these things. And maybe they show up to a meeting and they're like, no, I didn't get that done, because I'm like, you know what? Let me share with you this book I have that really helps you to simplify your life, and then I share it. The one that's like 3 steps to a more productive morning for people who do not get up in the morning, right? And so I have that. For these are little assets. They're value packed assets that I share with my
Exactly.
clients for life balance. I share it inside our relationship, and they have their own nurture sequences that go with it. The healthy routine planner just walks people through different routines for a healthy life, right? And so there are 6 emails that go with that say you should be at about this point in the book. And these are some tips I have for that. Or here's an article that supports that, right? So that's what that email nurture sequence looks like. But we don't want to lose those things, but you do need to keep your front office simple and clean. Nobody wants to walk into clutter, because we all know what happens if you have tons of choices. You don't choose. You leave. You choose to leave. That's it.
You get really overwhelmed when you have tons of choices. So there is a necessity for these things, but I think that in order to simplify with what you're saying, it's your organization of where they go and how you share them and when you share them. Throwing them out without intention for when it's going to best serve your clientele. It may not serve them. Maybe they go into, the supermarket, they want an apple, but they get spinach salad. You're not going to be satiated. You're not going to feel good. Are you maintaining that that's what goes with what you're sharing? If that booklet is appropriate for the moment, and it's going to coincide with the talk, and it's still on topic, that's the best thing to share. That's when to share it. That's the best thing. I have an ebook that I created that is called Cracking the Podcast Code. That is for when people want to, what type of equipment, it still holds true, what type of equipment, how you show up, how you're going to live stream. Know that you're still human and it's okay. I had that human glitch this morning. My human side was showing. That's all right. I can still laugh about it. And I know enough to know that, hey, here we go. But remember, it can always be edited. But the thing is that, when we're doing this, we have to look at the bigger picture and come with a bit of organization. When you put your outfit down, you're going to make sure the belt, maybe the heels and the purse are accessorized well and they go well. If you're an I don't care, I'm going to go to Walmart without taking a shower on the first of the month in my fuzzy bunny slippers and my pajamas I've been wearing for 3 straight days because it's the first of the month. Look, I've been there. I've also tried to shop on that day. It's not a good day to plan to go out. But if that's how you're showing up, that's not professional and you're not helping anybody move the needle. If you want support from other entrepreneurs, if you want support from other people, if you want to be a good connection and a good referral for people, then that's how you show up. Plus, because of the trust recession that we're looking at, if you don't get connected, if I reach out to you and I get your lead magnet, I'm going to assume and know truly that you're going to contact me by email. I gave you my email knowing that you're going to contact me, hoping that you're going to contact me because I want to hear more from you. I want to understand what you're about. I want to know you've got this great information. I put my email in, subscribe to Alex Hermosi's and Layla Hermosi's stuff because I thought that was a good thing. And then I did that. I put it in there and I went, okay, hey, I'm going to hear from them, knowing that that is true. So that is what we're talking about today is really like, what are you using? When are you using it? But there's also a breakdown here that we have, is really, are you doing the automation? Are you doing the follow-up? And are you tracking that conversation and how are people showing up in there? It's looking at that conversation. Do you reach out to people, Colleen, when they're going through a workflow and maybe they haven't unsubscribed, but they're not showing up, they're not reaching out, they're not going in the group? Do you let them go, or how do you do that?
Well, Billy's going to be my guest on Monday Morning Business Foreplay here this upcoming week, I think, and he can tell you because he kind of did that. Like we had a few great conversations, and then suddenly it was just radio silence. And so I sent him an email outside of a workflow, actually, and just said, "Hey, you're not opening my emails." That was the heading. What's up with you? And then open the email that says, "You're either totally bored of my content, you've moved on, or you're just overlooking it. So let's hop on a call and discuss it." So fun. And so, and he messaged right back, "You're right. I've been so busy, blah, blah, blah." So we hopped on a call. And sometimes you need to do that. And I wouldn't suggest doing that with everybody, but that's with the people that you know you've had good rapport with and that you've maybe just gotten a little bit out of touch with. You want to reach back out to them that way or however works for you. That's just my style. And so sometimes people get an email from me that says, "What the heck?" as a headline. And they're like, open it. They're like, I'm like, "Where have you been?" So we get on a call, right? So for people that just are inactive, I have created for my emails a personalization, customization button at the bottom so that they can really personalize and customize which emails they're getting, because I don't want them to get invites to speak on summits and invites to networking and follow-ups from summits and Monday Morning Business Foreplay emails and my newsletter emails if they don't want all of those. And so those are the categories that I have, and they can open that at the bottom of any of the emails and just subscribe or unsubscribe to any of those things that they want. So that's one way of handling that. And otherwise, I just assume they want to stay on the list. I don't know that that's the right way, but once you reach out, and you can mark them as cold and then not do anything with them for a while, pop out of their inbox for a while, and then pop back in and see if that's like triggers them going, "Oh, hey, yeah, I haven't gotten an email from her in a while." Kind of like seeing people in town, you see them and you're kind of like, "Hey," but you don't run over and talk to them, but you're just kind of like, "Yeah, hey." And then all of a sudden you don't see them for a while. For instance, when I sold my businesses and took care of my mom, um, I was homebound for all that time. And so nobody saw me. My husband was going to the grocery store by himself and all the things. And then I popped back in. They're like, "Oh, did you move back to town?" And I'm like, well, this is what was really going on. So it's kind of the same thing. If you do pop out, if you choose to pop out, then I would just pause emails to them, but not remove them from your list. So create a tag that says paused, and you can even do paused and a date or a month, something like that. And then wait 6 months or 3 months and come back in and appear again and see if they acknowledge that. So then it becomes a different game, right?
I think it does. It becomes a very different game on how you engage. And I like that you're like, "Hey, where are you? What the hell?" Right? I think that's a good way to do it. Calling attention. Where do you want to go? Do you want to be part of this journey or don't you? That's fine. Unsubscribe, give me a shout out, click a link for goodness sake, say hello, do something where you're participatory. And if you are participating and you like something, share that you like it. And I know that and there's things that, talking to you, I didn't really realize how that kind of works. But there's a video we have, that I've keyed up here, and it talks about what you're giving away in lead generation, and what you need to give away, what you should give away. And it's kind of about like where Alex Hormozy is talking a little bit about. Just moving my screens here so I share the right screen this time and make sure there's nothing crazy popping up. What it talks about is where Alex Hormozy is giving away free things, so people feel maybe that they owe you something because you've gave something of value. It's a different spin on what I've been doing or what I've been shown. And I really want your opinion on this, Colleen, because I know we should give things away. And then because people don't pay us for, they don't pay us for that information. They're really paying us to put this together, to do this with
Right.
you, right?
They're paying for the action. And it didn't used to be that way. It used to be that you told them what they needed to do and why they needed to do it, and you kept the how a secret. And then that was behind the paywall. And now it's like, you know what? Everybody can Google everything. They can find out on their own anyways. And so overload them so they can find all that information in one place.
Exactly.
And then you get paid for the action of actually implementing the thing.
Yep, absolutely. I cannot see how, okay, here we go. Just having an issue with my screen here. Everything looks good. Okay, there we go. Alrighty, let's get this up. Make sure I got the volume sharing on the right screen, so that's ready to go. Here we go.
Lead generation. What he talks about is he wants to offer free stuff that others charge for, so people feel like they owe you and are more likely to buy or share your business. Like what Alex does, he gives away all of his courses. He gives away all of his secrets. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but if you've consumed a lot of Alex's content, you're like, dude, I will buy whatever it is that you're offering because I feel like I owe you something and you've given me so much value. The amount of free value that he's providing is also coming up in tenfold in returns because people ultimately trust him.
After you've delivered the value that you deliver with your core product or service, you then offer a free gift.
Third philosophy that he talks about is extreme ownership. If you're not getting customers, don't blame the market. We need to not point the finger at something else. We want to point the finger at ourselves. One of my favorite principles is extreme ownership. A lot of people, when they're not getting leads, a lot of people when they're not closing deals, and they try to point the blame at this thing, this person, this software, this tool, when in reality, it's likely you that's contributing to you not getting leads. Fourth principle that he talks about is avoid linear.
So, I wanted to play that. Let me stop this here. I wanted to play that second part because I thought it was in leadership, always coming back to leadership and taking action and also taking accountability. But really getting into that is getting into the practice that we need to give it away and we can't hide it. And I love that the business is moving to this because I've always hated that fact for the last 20 years or so, because for me, being a digital person and also reading books and knowing I can go to the library and find the same information that you're spewing that you probably got from Earl Nightingale or Jim Rohn or whatever business guru that you were following, that you were just spitting that out because, and maybe it's your experience and it works, but that's not what I wanted. I didn't want guidance. I wanted guidance to a point, but I didn't need a psychologist to just sit and listen to me. And I think that was a big problem that a lot of coaches did, was that I'm just going to sit back and let you make the decision. Well, I have healthcare. I can go sit on the couch with a psychologist. So as a business, I think that there is a fine line when people try to play that coach, but they're not teaching you the how to. And
Right.
if you are strong enough in your call to action to say that, yes, the good thing is you could do it yourself. The bad thing is that you can do it yourself and you're going to try it. And then you're going to move past the needle just in virtual summits, 264 hours. That was just penciling a few things down here and there. So you got 264 hours you want to mess around with. There's a summit I'm working on with someone, and it was like, look, all I have to do is put placement and clean up your chaos, and I'll put this all out, and you'll be ready to go. Should have taken less than 2 weeks and 3 drafts of each process. It has taken a lot longer than that.
Right.
But
Right.
that's the thing is, are you going to be accountable for what's working, what's not working, accountable for your decisions, and are you going to be an action taker? And if somebody's there to help you move the needle, I think that's because you have to flip the script on that. We really have to flip the script because people think that that's what you're going to do is you're going to coach, you're going to be their best friend, you're going to be their partner in pain, and that's what people are looking for. And I don't advertise that way. So what say you when you go, Colleen, when you're working with clients and they get into that in their business or you're sharing with people how to really simplify this? How does this wheel really work when we're giving this away? We're seeding, we're nurturing, but people go back to that same cycle and they're not just cutting that off.
Well, I want to touch on the accountability for a minute. And so there's a huge difference. If you're midlife, you were taught to be accountable, right? As a matter of fact, you're probably the only person that was accountable for yourself from the time you were 2 or 3 years old. So we know how to be accountable, but there's a difference between accountability and extreme accountability. And what that difference is that accountability is like, okay, yeah, that's my bad. Good, you took accountability. Cool. Extreme accountability is when you say, that is my bad. You do the research, you see what you need to do different, you then take action and do something different. And that sets the leaders and the scalers apart from the average Joe. And so anybody that works with me knows that I do that. And I have a system that I know is extreme. But here's the truth. I'm not here for a long time. I'm here for a good time, right? Like I'm at this level for 10 weeks. Every 10 weeks, I'm reevaluating, changing things, cutting out things that don't work. I am deep dive researching into patterns, habits, and things I should have done differently. And after I deep dive, I take that and I implement it the very next week. So then I can go another 10 weeks before I redo that again. And so really, if something's not working, if your lead gen's not working, if your workflow's not working, not only do you have to say, yeah, my bad, I didn't do this or that, you have to get in, research it, find the very best way that works for your business, that you're confident and feel really good about, but confident in your ability to deliver it or do it, and then implement it. And so, we did go from here's what you need to do, and here's how you need to do it, or why you need to do it, and then selling the how, to giving them the information and letting them know. Now, not everybody's going to stick around for that. Some people are going to be like, oh, I'll figure that out. And in the folder it goes, and they recircle back around to it, either when they're ready or never. And when they do, then that's another opportunity for them to realize that they really could hand it off to somebody else who's an expert in that. And so that's a big deal, to be able to hand things off in your business. That positions you to scale when you're able to say, why I can host a summit. There is not a thing in this world that I can't do. I don't think I can absolutely host a summit, but why would I? If Nicole is really good has years experience, she has integrity. She's given me the value all of the times that I've seen things she's done. So why would I feel like I have to do that if I could hand it off to her? It's no different than even ads or something like that. If you're going to run ads, sure, I can learn how to run ads. And I just had this conversation with Alex the other day. I'm like, why would I run ads? Why? When he's a pro at it.
Right.
Why would I do that for myself? Yeah, he gives me the value, tells me all the things, gives me the tools I need to do it. And then I turn around to him. I'm like, okay, you do it. I'll write the check. And that's just a part of business, and putting your business first is really learning to let other people take the lead in what they're good at, staying in your lane and shining with what you're really good at, which is delivering that core thing that brought you into this business, the core message that you wanted to help people learn and grow with. That's the one that you want to bring into it. And so I think that, accountability, we've shifted. I mean, everybody's like, yeah, okay, my bad, I did that, or I dropped the ball or whatever, but it needs to go further. We need to take extreme accountability, where we're deep diving, doing the research like Alex was saying, and then taking action. Really just take the action, do the thing, say, yeah, I didn't do this right, or I didn't get the leads. It's not the market, it's me, it's my product. It's not refined enough, it's whatever, and figure it out, dive in and get it done. That's the key.
I think that's important. I do want to address that, because I know that there's a lot going on there. When you take accountability, there needs to be a shift in that conversation, that if you come in there, and I've had these conversations with people, and I go to say, hey, I screwed this up. I won't say what I really say, because we would have to edit it out anyway, but I messed this up. I take accountability. Here's where I was at. Not telling you a sob story, not trying to make you feel bad for me. I'm just saying, this is what I did. This is why I did it. Maybe I felt stupid in the moment realizing this right now. Doesn't mean I'm calling myself stupid. It means at the moment I was playing dumb. So there's a difference in the words that you use. And this goes back to the original part of the conversation of how we talk to one another and how we listen to one another. Don't need a shame, don't need a trigger, none of that, not partner in pain, not trying to cry on your shoulder. It's here's where I was at. I'm playing Spock right now. Here's where I was at logically. Here's where I messed up. And this is why I'm telling you. This is why I'm adamant when I have conversations, especially here and anywhere else. This is why I share those stories, because they're important, because they mean something, because they tell a tale. There's something in that you'll get at the end, just like a Bullwinkle fairy tale. But I don't have the term. I wish I had that little part of the video where they did Aesop's fables. But there, in the fable, there was something that you found out, right? You found out what that person was doing wrong. You found out what they did and why they did it. And it's important to know why they did it, even in the littlest context, a sentence or two, because that way you can be a good business partner. You can be a good friend and say, hey, you might be going down that road again. Let's reevaluate how you got back over here. Let's reevaluate what made you come back here and why you did it. It's okay to try it. It's okay to make a mistake. Maybe you didn't realize how you got there in the first place, but you realized that you messed up. So looking at it from that pattern. And then what I like too is what you're talking about is those 10 weeks. When you're looking at those 10 weeks and you're reevaluating, whether it's your CRM, whether it's your marketing, whether it's your social media, that's great to take analytics as a good time factor to split that up in. When you're looking at that, what point do you say, hey, I'm going to ditch this, which is not the point where you're quitting. I'm
Right.
not quitting on you. I'm realizing that this just doesn't work. And I'm going to make the decision to stop it. Perhaps I'll bring it back when I know a little bit more, but at this point, I'm going to stop.
Right. And sometimes it's just stopping, pausing to give yourself time to restructure, right? And the thing is that I like to keep things super simple, but in every aspect of your business, there has to be a procedure that you follow to really look at it and deep dive into whether it's working or not. And in order to have that, you have to have had specific goals for that. So let's say that we're talking about opening a school group. You set a goal that we have to have so many members by this date in order to make it worthwhile to stay open, or so much interaction or engagement or whatever that looks like. And then maybe as you get in there, you're realizing at week 10, you're realizing that maybe you have part of one and part of the other, but not both of those things to the full capacity that you want. And so you reevaluate, restructure a little bit, right? Realign your goals, and you do that extreme accountability. You take it, you look at it in your deep dive and decide why it's not working and what you need to change. And one of the things I love is that I can take all the information, brain dump it into my AI and say, help me refine this process. Why is it not working? Where am I dropping the link? This is what my end goal is, and this is where I thought it would be, and this is where I am, and be brutally honest and just put it all out there and then see what it comes back with. Now, you don't have to implement everything that it says, and maybe it'll be way off base and you need to refine your prompt a little, but it gives you a basis and an outside look that you wouldn't otherwise have. And so I like to do that and to utilize that and say, okay, well, that didn't work. Now, there are some things I'm like, it just isn't clicking yet. It's had no hits. It's not, or maybe it's had 2 or 3 hits. And I'm like, okay, we're not in a position in this other area that this is necessary right now. And so then we shelf it for a while. And that's fine. That's fine. It doesn't mean it was a bad idea. It means something else isn't working with it. It has to work in correlation with each other and flow. And so if it's not, you remove that part, clean it up, or set it aside and come back to it. And that's okay too. The thing is that if you knew that you had to fail 99 times hard before you got that one win that was going to be life-changing, for me, I would jump right in and start failing. And so it's okay as long as you're dissecting that, learning from it, and then building off of it, right? And so that's the idea, is to get in and try the things. And if they're not working, then go back and refine it. For me, I do 10 weeks. I know a lot of people are like, well, try it for a year. And I used to do that, but I find that along the pathway to a year, I get shiny object syndrome, or I get kind of, oh, there's a squirrel. Squirrel over here. 10 weeks, I can stay focused for I can stay focused for 10 weeks. And so for 10 weeks, I can really just give it everything, and then come back, refine it, change the strategy, whatever that looks like. Really just break it down. I just did this yesterday with my open rate on my emails for my newsletter, and I do it for all my emails, right? And so I'm like, okay, well, right now, this is the day and time that's working to send that. And so I need to refine this process, change my daily schedule. So this is when I'm doing it, get that done, right? And so I think that's it, is just, it's a refinement, always a refinement. And you have to know that you're going to fail along the way and just keep going. For me, that's 5 times a year that I check in, change things, but it works. It works. It keeps the needle moving instead of getting in that slush, if you will, the sludge of just being like, okay, well, we're stuck here trying this out for another 9 months. Why? Why would you keep doing that?
Well, you can't afford to do that anymore. Things move fast. We're not in the era where you're going to Best Buy and you're going to camp out for 3 days, because I lived in Silicon Valley, and man, it happened all the time, especially the Fry's Electronics, which were cool because they looked like a pyramid. It looked like an Egyptian temple, but you could go get all your digital stuff. But you're not waiting for 3 days camping out with your buddies to get the new iPhone.
Right.
It's here. It's going to be here. It's constantly changing. It's constantly moving. You need to keep up with that. That means that you need to take that. You need to have a score. And just like when I was talking to Masango yesterday on the Pain Point podcast, we talked about that. I mean, when I have a daily thing where I'm putting down my schedule on my notebook, even though I have it in my phone. Write it down. Do you have what you're doing, what time you're doing it? Pencil in your me time, pencil in your walk, your family, whatever. Pencil in your dinner, because you need to make a hard stop, especially if you're doing tech all day. You need to get up and off your hind end and move around. But the other thing is on that right side, there's a quantitative outcome. What is the outcome of what you're looking for? But it's a pre-planned what you're looking to get. So you put subliminally in your head, what are you planning to get out of that? Because you need to get something out of it. You need to get a referral out of that phone call. You need to get a client out of that phone call. You need to get something out of it. And that's what you want to look at. So this is what we looked at today. And it's hard and fast. Angelina's in here, says, hello, good day. Hello, Angelina. How are you? But this is what we were talking about today, is why your CRM isn't converting your leads, and to keep up on it. And also, pro tip, make sure that the email went out. Don't be like me. It's happened. And I admit that, so that means that I got to go in after I set my email out, set the time out, make sure that it goes out, because sometimes something happens in that digital breakup and it doesn't send, or you might be sending your email up at 2:00 in the morning and you set it for a month later. Whoops, that's happened. But hey, we're human. So don't forget to tag your leads list, automate and follow up, check your conversation. Are you tracking it? And your workflow simplification, and check your data and analytics. Don't go down a rabbit hole, but make sure that you're ready to pivot when that time comes. And that way you are building yourself, you're taking the lead, you're being strong. And so when that opportunity comes, you can take it and it knocks on the door, you can actually answer it, and you're not overwhelmed and tired, and you just let them walk away. So any last words there, Colleen?
I'm going to say that consistency is always king, and automation makes that possible. Makes you look confident. It builds your confidence. And really, when you have your automation simplified, running smoothly, you get the freedom to show up confidently as a face and voice in your business, whether that's on stage or in person or however you show up in your business. And that's what we're aiming for here.
All right, you guys, another episode of the Pain Point podcast. And if there's something that you want to know, Pain Point, VoiceLab, excuse me, a little slip. We're offering solutions, and that's what I do on that podcast too, is we're offering solutions to business pain points, simplifying it for you, making it better, helping you level up. And if you have questions for us, remember, like, subscribe, comment, help us move the needle and help us help you. What are you looking for? What do you want to know that people just aren't telling you about? They're trying to sell you that $10,000 system, and it's not working out for you. So, and get on the VoiceLab on the school platform. Info's in the chat. Check it out. Come rise and shine. We've got all kinds of good things going on in there. Love you guys. All right.